Bienvenidos. Hoy te enseñaremos una técnica innovadora que hará que aprender inglés sea más efectivo y emocionante. No te pierdas este enfoque fresco, y si te gusta el video, apóyanos con un like, suscríbete y comenta. Vamos a empezar.
One day, while you were walking through the woods, you came across a curious little house. A delicious aroma, like freshly baked cookies, came from its windows. You approached, intrigued, and when you looked in, you saw something unexpected, a dog and a cat, sitting at the table, arguing heatedly. The dog, with golden fur and big, kind eyes, seemed worried. The cat, on the other hand, with its gray fur and emerald green eyes, had a mischievous expression. "We can't do that, cat," said the dog in a firm but trembling voice. "Come on, dog, don't be boring," replied the cat with a mischievous smile. "It will only be a little prank, no one will notice." But the dog, knowing that the cat's pranks always ended in trouble, insisted on his refusal. The cat, however, did not give up. He got up from the table, walked with feline elegance to the door, and looked you straight in the eyes. "What do you say?" he asked, in a voice so soft that you were surprised a cat could talk. "Will you help us do a prank?" You knew the cat was planning something that could go wrong, but his offer was tempting. You decided to follow him, not knowing that this decision would lead you on an endless adventure. The cat led you to a clearing in the forest where there was a huge tree, so tall that its branches seemed to touch the sky. "Let's go up," the cat told you, beginning to climb with agility. The dog, more cautious, looked at you with concern, but followed the cat, barking softly as if to warn you of any danger. When you finally reached the top, the cat pointed to a nest. "A very special bird lives here," he explained. "Its feathers are pure gold, and its songs can grant wishes." The dog, always thinking of others, suggested making a wish to help someone in the village. But the cat, with his eyes shining with excitement, had a different plan. "Why don't we make a wish for ourselves? We could be the fastest, the strongest, or the smartest." You realized you had an important decision to make. You could follow the dog's suggestion and make a wish for the greater good, or you could give in to the cat's excitement and ask for something just for yourself. What would you do? Every choice you made led you down a new path, full of challenges and surprises. If you decided to help others, you found new ways to do so, discovering the true power of a golden bird's wish. But if you let yourself be led by the cat, you faced the consequences of greed and impulsiveness, learning lessons that were etched in your heart. The dog and the cat continued to argue, but now, you were part of the story too. Every time you made a decision, the story lengthened, twisted, and transformed, like a river that never stops flowing. Every day, as the sun barely peeks over the horizon, you wake up with a new crossroads in mind. The dog and the cat are still there, watching you, waiting to see what you'll do. Today is no different. As you walk through the woods, the cat, with his typical carefree air, begins to play with a leaf that has fallen to the ground. The dog, ever vigilant, walks beside you, ears pricked and serious looking. "Today, we're going to follow a new trail," says the cat, a sparkle in his eyes. I've heard that deep in the woods there's a cave full of treasures. The dog, however, frowns. Caves can be dangerous, he warns. We could get lost, or worse, wake up something we don't want to find. But the cat is already jumping with excitement, imagining all the wonders that could be hidden in that place. Come on, it'll just be a little adventure, he insists. Aren't you curious to know what's inside? And there you are again, caught between two options. You know that the cat is always looking for the exciting, the unknown, but also that its adventures often bring complications. The dog, on the other hand, is more cautious, always thinking about the consequences and how to protect others. Finally, you make a decision, you decide to follow the cat. As you walk deeper into the forest, the daylight grows dimmer, the shadows lengthen, and the air grows colder. The cat moves nimbly through the trees, while the dog stays close to you, alert. After a while, you reach the entrance to the cave. It is dark and mysterious, and a gentle wind seems to come from within, whispering ancient secrets. Come on, says the cat, with a mischievous grin. Treasure awaits us. You walk deeper into the cave, your heart beating fast. As you go further, the ground becomes more uneven and the walls narrower. But just as you are about to hesitate, you see a glow at the bottom. There it is, exclaims the cat, quickening his pace. But when you reach the end, you don't find treasure like you expected. Instead, there is a small fountain of crystal clear water, surrounded by luminous stones. The water emits a soft light, which seems to calm your mind and heart. The cat, disappointed, sits down and snorts. Is this all? I was expecting something more exciting. The dog, on the other hand, approaches the fountain and drinks some water. It's not a material treasure, he says, but it has its own value. This water seems special, it might have healing properties, or maybe it shows us something we need to learn. You lean over and look at your reflection in the water. For a moment, everything seems calm, as if the world stops around you. Then, something magical happens, the water starts to show images, as if it were a mirror revealing what is hidden deep within your heart. You see moments in your life, decisions you have made, some good and some not so good. You see how each choice has brought you here, to this very moment. And you understand something important. It is not always the final destination that matters, but the path you take to get there. The dog and the cat watch you in silence. They both understand that you have learned something valuable today. The cat, despite his mischievous nature, recognizes that sometimes what you find along the way is more meaningful than the treasure you were hoping for. The dog, proud of your reflection, sits beside you, glad that you have understood the importance of the decisions you make each day. The cave, which at first seemed dark and full of danger, now seems to you a place of wisdom. And as you leave it, you feel that you carry with you something more valuable than any material treasure, the knowledge that each choice, each path you decide to take, is part of a larger story, one that you yourself are writing with each step. As you leave the cave, the forest welcomes you with a fresh and renewed air. The trees whisper in complicity, as if they know the revelation you have just had. The cat, always rushing to the next mischief, looks at you with a mixture of curiosity and expectation. "And now what will we do?" he asks, circling you, eager for the next adventure. The dog, ever calmer, walks beside you, watching you with wisdom in his eyes. "Today we could just enjoy the ride back," he suggests, his voice inviting reflection. Not all adventures have to be grand or exciting. Sometimes the most valuable things are in the simple. As you continue walking, something in you has changed. You realize that although the cat and the dog will always present you with contrasting options, the real adventure is in how you approach them. You know there is a balance between the cat's enthusiasm and the dog's caution, and that realization gives you a new perspective. But the quiet doesn't last long. Suddenly, the cat leaps forward and stops dead, sniffing the air. "Do you feel it?" he asks, his eyes shining. "There's something special about this forest today. Something we haven't discovered before." The dog lifts his head and sniffs the air, too. "It's true," he admits. "There's something different, but I don't know if it's good or bad." You, intrigued, decide to investigate. Following the cat's instinct and the dog's caution, you venture into a part of the forest that seems unfamiliar, even to them. The trees here are taller, and the leaves are a deeper green. Everything seems more alive, more vibrant, as if the forest is awake and watching you. After a while, you come to a clearing you've never been in before. In the center, a giant tree stands, with a trunk so wide you couldn't wrap your arms around it. Its branches reach toward the sky like the hands of a wise old man, and at its roots, something glows with a warm glow. The cat, unable to contain his curiosity, runs toward the tree. "Look," he exclaims. "It's a door." And, indeed, at the roots of the tree is a small door, as old as the forest itself. It has engravings that seem to tell forgotten stories and an aged gold doorknob that shines in the sunlight. The dog approaches cautiously, sniffing at the door and frowning. "We don't know what's behind this door," he says in a serious tone. "It could be dangerous." But the cat is already impatient. "What if it's the entrance to a new world?" he suggests excitedly. "It could be the greatest adventure of our lives." You find yourself, once again, faced with an important decision. You could open the door and discover what it hides, risking the unknown, or you could leave it closed, opting for the safety and certainty of what you already know. Finally, you decide to turn the handle and open the door. When you do, a soft glow envelopes you, and you feel a warm breeze that seems to whisper secrets in an ancient language. The door slowly opens, revealing a path that descends into the depths of the tree. Without further hesitation, you step onto the path. The cat and the dog follow closely behind, each reflecting their own emotions, the cat, full of anticipation and excitement, and the dog, with a mix of worry and bravery. The path inside the tree is narrow, but as you move forward, it widens and lights up with lights that seem to float in the air, like little stars. The place feels magical, filled with an ancient energy that seems to resonate with your every step. Finally, you arrive at a huge room, at the heart of the tree. At its center, there is a crystal-clear lake that reflects the ceiling covered in golden roots that shine with a soft light. But the most amazing thing is what you see in the water. It's not just your reflection, but scenes from a world that seems to be alive, vibrant, full of magical creatures and dreamlike landscapes. The cat, delighted, peers over the edge of the lake. "This is incredible," he whispers. "It's like we're seeing another reality, a place where anything is possible." The dog, calmer, watches cautiously. "It might be a reflection, or maybe a portal," he says quietly. "We don't know what it really is, but it seems important." You realize that you're standing before something bigger than you had imagined. This isn't just another place in the forest, it's a portal to a whole new world. But again, the choice is yours. You can decide whether to jump into the lake and explore what's on the other side, or if you'd rather study this place a little more before making such a big decision.
Y con eso terminamos. Si te gustó este vídeo, asegúrate de suscribirte al canal. Además, te invitamos a ver el siguiente vídeo que te dejamos por aquí, para seguir mejorando tu nivel de inglés a base de práctica y repetición. Nos vemos allí.